Welcome to Star Wars and Scotch, episode 117. How are you, Tim?
I'm good, Kevin. How are you?
Good. How was your workout this morning?
It was good. Today was shoulders and arms. So biceps and shoulders.
I did back last night.
Gross.
Hey, doing it at home. I have more time to do it, so I'm actually getting it done. I'm on like 4 to 5 days a week right now, which, as you know, is good for me. So, thumbs up. I'm giving a thumbs up for the audio listeners. Tim's just smirking at me like, okay.
Yeah, I'm just all right. I want to see what these at-home workouts look like.
It's all. I'll send you one of them. It's all from Body Fit.
No. I don't want to see what you're doing. I want to see you do it.
Oh, you want to come over and do one with me once?
I want to see what your at-home workouts look like.
Okay. All right. Well, I feel my back feels good this morning. So
yeah, you got wings. Yeah, you ready to fly?
Let's see. I did. Here.
Is this what? Sorry, guys, we're not talking about Star Wars anymore. This is a full.
No.
Yeah,
I've been listening to other Star Wars podcasts now. We need like 5 minutes of personal banter at the beginning. That's one thing I've noticed we're missing. All right,
we do that. What are you talking about?
That's what we're doing right now.
Opens that we do all the time is ridiculous.
All right, so yesterday, this is AMRAP workouts, meaning I have to do as many reps as possible in allotted amounts of time. Sometimes they'll do. There's no pull-ups in this. So back yesterday was Kingmaker dumbbell Romanian deadlifts for warm up, and then Kingmaker dumbbell Romanian deadlift superset with broad jumps. So I had to do 6 sets at 20 seconds and do as many Kingmaker dumbbell Romanian deadlifts as I possibly can. So I was at like 10 or 12. Broad jumps, 30 seconds.
Does jumping help your back?
I think it's just cardio for the superset to keep me sweating.
Oh, I see. And
then it was single arm bench dumbbell rows. So I had to do an AMRAP set with the one arm, and then I had to do 12 solid reps slow. So 30 seconds of just as many reps as you can do, and then 12 solid reps very slow, holding like 2 seconds at the top, and then like trying to count 3, 4 down. Both arms, 4 sets.
Okay.
Bent over dumbbell Rio delt flies, AMRAP, 5 sets, 30 seconds each, and then incline dumbbell rows, 6 sets, 20 seconds each. But it's a 2-second pause with a 3-4 second slow eccentric lowering, and then 15 minutes on the bike.
Okay.
That was 510 calories last night. I like doubling these up. So when I have the time, I would do chest too, but I only had like an hour last night. But I did something.
Okay.
And what would have felt like, I don't want to leave the house and do this for an hour and then come back, was like, all right, I can bang this out real quick and then go to bed.
Yeah, trying to get his ass up to go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning is ridiculous.
I'm still up at 5. Like I was up at 5:30 watching Bad Batch this morning. It's just like that extra hour is like, I can't explain it to you. It just does something for me. So
I watch Bad Batch on the Stairmaster. So
I want to put a TV in there because then I can do the workout while I'm watching Bad Batch. So that's my goal.
See, I feel like I would get distracted.
I probably would, but for a show like Bad Batch, I feel like I could watch and work out. Like Mandalorian, I wouldn't do that because I'm going to want to sit and soak it in. So with Bad Batch,
you also listen to audiobooks while you work out. So like you're weird.
I have 3 minutes of Battle for Jedi.
I actually really like Battle for Jedi. It's really good. I like the way that it's just a full show. Like it's just an audio show. It's really good.
I like those better than the other audiobooks.
The only thing I don't like is when they put the voices in the different channels, and it bothers me because it doesn't sound like it's not balanced audio. So it's just like one person's talking and just like left audio, and it's just like, this is really annoying because I'm only hearing it in my one ear. Like there's no echo or anything, and it's like one person will be here, one person will be on your right side, and then like all the sounds coming from center, and just like I'm a stickler for audio. So like
I was gonna say you're an audiophile, that's why.
Yeah, that bugs the shit out of me. Other than that, I think in the car it would probably sound really cool. But in headphones, it just, especially when the sound canceling I have is turned on, it is weird. But other than that, that's like my only thing that I don't like about a fully casted show for like an Audible like book is just that. It's just like the way that they try to keep everybody's audio separate so you can follow along. Like I get why they do it. It's just it's weird, awkward listening experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I like it.
I would prefer that than and again, I'm not knocking Mark. I love Mark's books, but some of the other folks who read the audiobooks can be snoozers.
Yes.
So, and it's no offense to them. It's just how I feel. So I prefer this because it feels like I'm constantly engaged. It feels like they do more sound effects and things
they do.
like that in
yeah,
it.
it's a full-on show.
So, but I literally pulled into the parking lot here, and I have 3 freaking minutes left in this book, and all I want to do is
you should have finished it.
No, it's fine. You didn't finish it yet, so we can't even fully talk about
Yeah,
it. But it is a good book.
I have hours. You have minutes. It's very different.
It's a good. Because I killed it when I drove to Orlando last week for Podfest, so that was like 3 hours of killing it. It's only a 5.5 hour book.
Yeah.
So highly recommend Battle for Jeddah. You got to read. What was the last one? Convergence before Battle for Jeddah, though, or else you'll be completely lost as the political framework of what's happening in that book. Plus, Gella's in this one too, so she's like the one crossover character. Anyway, before we go any further, I would like to say thank you so much to all of you who bought our barrel-aged Heartbreak Reserve this year at Kings Coast. It was a banger of an on sale, so thank you. I hope that you and your lovers enjoy the. Did you watch the skit? I sent it to you.
No.
Oh my god! I'll send it to you again until you watch it. Well, I hope all of you lovers out there enjoy your Heartbreak Reserve. But there's already stuff on the horizon. Wayne was talking to me on Monday about the next thing. Also, if you're in the Tampa area and you like ice cream, you should go check out Bright Ice. They're also in St. Pete. Tim's wife Amy met the owner at the gym, and we got all hooked up and I met with them, and they're now serving Kings Coast Espresso as their espresso blend. Well, they placed the order. I don't know if it's in the chain yet, but it will be soon. So their espresso ice cream is now it will be Kings Coast, and then also they'll be serving the coffee in the shop. So they have a location in St. Pete. I want to say Largo. I could be lying. Tampa, and then they're opening a new location, I believe, in Venice. So Bright Ice cream.
Their Tampa location's right by the aquarium. So if you were familiar with
it's right by the convention center.
I thought it was by the aquarium.
It's literally across the street from the convention. You know the Marriott that's across the street? You know the Marriott?
Yes.
So it's in the Marriott building, literally.
Oh, I thought they were on that new strip of buildings that's right by the aquarium where we had tacos.
No, if you walk across the street, if you're going to the bridge to go to like Davis Island where the Embassy Suites Hotel was, if you walk across that bridge, it's the first door on your left, on your right is Bright Ice.
So if you're in downtown Tampa, go get some ice cream.
So yeah, check them out. But yeah, kingscoastcoffee.com. There's already stuff coming down the pipeline for the next few months. And you want to know something that was crazy about Heartbreak Reserve, Tim, is a ton of people came into the store. So the Long Island locals came in for the on sale to buy the Heartbreak Reserve, which was really cool. So thank you to our Long Island customers. Anything going on at Lab?
We got some machines coming in.
That's exciting.
Yeah, my house is gonna look like a sweatshop.
Like I just watched that episode of Sunny where Frank starts the sweatshop in the basement of the bar.
Yeah.
You're gonna have Eastern European women sewing and
no, it's just gonna be my wife.
Poor
this my wife. But yeah, we got some. We got a cool new machine coming out. So
I mean, April 29th will be here before you know it, and I hear that's a big day.
No, we're already working on some stuff. It's crazy, Kevin. Speaking of that, like 5 years on Facebook today. Cool.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Today's my 5th anniversary of going live on Facebook. So it's been 5 years, Kevin.
Holy cow! You having a party today?
No.
All right, I'm gonna go hang out and stir some shit in your chat.
We were looking at it, and I was like, holy crap, because it was like it was a Wednesday, so it was either today or it was today. Yeah, because it happened on a Wednesday. Because then I drove over.
Yeah.
I drove over after my live stream after I got banned on Twitch.
What a great conversation that was. And the funny part is you knew, but everyone else didn't know that I was like in heavy negotiations with Mixer by that point.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because then you went over Mixer like right after.
A month and a half later, I think it was March 17th or something. Yeah, because you were at the zoo the week before when I was screaming at them about the contract.
Oh, that's right. Fuck, I forgot about that. God, we're so old, Kevin.
Tim and I didn't know each other too well. We were just becoming good friends, and I was in like heavy contract negotiation mode. And we were at, it wasn't the zoo, it was Busch Gardens. We were at
Busch
Food
Gardens.
Wine
We were
Festival.
at the cheetah train or whatever.
And I walked away,
Kevin's
and
fucking pacing.
They hear me getting loud and pacing about it. So good times. Wow, 5 years, man. That's crazy. And then how many years streaming total? 10?
9. 9 this month. I don't remember my first live stream on Twitch, but it was February.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was Titanfall beta. So whatever that was.
Titanfall 1 for chat. And Ben's tenure was last week.
So February 15th was when the beta dropped. So yeah, so right around Valentine's Day.
And Ben's 10-year anniversary was last week. Wow, we are getting
Kevin.
old. All right, well, stay tuned to Lab 77. Like I said, April there will definitely be some good stuff for you to check out. So make sure you're following Lab 77 across the board. What else we got? GCXevent.com. GCX is shaping up. We're going to have announcements start pouring out next month. One person in Discord yesterday was like, when are we changing the logo to the new logo? So we're going to switch the logo over for you. Everything's going to be updated. And we're expecting a pretty crazy turnout this year. So gcxevent.com/tickets. Make sure you get your tickets. You can see Tim, you can see Dr. Lupo. You might be able to play some really cool games. You might be able to play some games that the community already loves to play and get to play maybe a new game mode or something. Like, who knows? We got a new stage set up this year. We're not doing it the same way we've done it in the past. It's going to be, as my friend Aladdin would say, a whole new world. gcxevent.com/tickets.
You know how hard it is to not break into song when you say stuff like that?
Yeah, it's kind of the point is to have someone at least hum it.
I was ready for it.
All right, was it a filler episode?
What do you think, Kevin? You know what, Kevin? You tell me. Was it a filler episode or not? I don't think I think part of it was. The other part, not so much. I mean, knowing what happened to the little Wookiee Jedi, what's his name? Gungi. I was like Gremlin. Gary. We're gonna call him Gary from now on. So now we know that Gary is back on Kashyyyk, so that's cool. But like other than that, I mean, like we saw the Trandoshan like bounty hunters that were there, like helping the Empire like clean up the Wookiees and round them up.
Well, were the Trandoshans helping the Empire? Or were the Trandoshans doing it because either they were A, getting paid, or B, because they're the sworn enemies of the Wookiees anyway?
Yes, I mean,
because they didn't follow. They didn't. That guy wasn't following orders.
Kevin, if someone hated you a lot and they were like, hey, you want to go over to the rare drop office and maybe just like kick Kevin, then be like, yeah, sure, I'll go over there. Maybe. I don't know.
You're giving people ideas now. I don't like that.
But I mean, like that's the same ideas. Like the Trandoshans are like, hey, like we know you hate the Wookiees. You want to just come over and help us? They're like, yes, I would love to.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yes to both?
Yeah. I don't know if they were getting paid because they weren't following orders. Like the stormtroopers were like, we have to call this into Imperial Command. And he was like, not if I catch him first.
Yeah, I think they were just guns for hire. I think they were just there because they were driving separatist tanks. They had like the separatist tanks that were there. They weren't Imperial tanks. So it seems like they brought in like their own weaponry and their own stuff, and the clones were just there as backup.
The fear that Gungi had seeing the Bad Batch was pretty intense. And then the other thing too was in every other episode when the Bad Batch has to go off and do something else, they always complain about how much it's going to cost or this, that, and the other thing. They didn't even blink an eye to help Gungi in this episode, which does show you their character as people. Mm-hmm. And even he said to the chieftain Yana, he said, it's a child. Like we had to do it. So I think they were really just trying to show you that they are, continually good people and they're trying to do right by everyone in the galaxy. I got really excited when I saw the spider webs because I was like, oh, those damn Kinrath spiders on Kashyyyk. I remembered them from KOTOR. And you always remember when we saw the big spider Mandalorian, it was like, it's Kinrath. And then they were like, it's not a Kinrath. I was like, son of a bitch. So when I saw those spider webs, I was like, it better be. And then it said it in the subtitles. I was like, thank you, God. So I got one of the most annoying creatures in KOTOR back on the screen. And then, the big thing was too, Tim, and I wasn't sure if you would think about this, but knowing what happens to Kashyyyk by Aftermath and seeing where they're at now. So the Empire hasn't completely taken over the planet yet. By the time we get to Aftermath, it's like a slave colony, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, it's bad. Like if you, we get to see Kashyyyk a few times. We see like we're in it now, and then if you go back and play Jedi Fallen Order, you get to go to Kashyyyk at another point, where like the rebels are essentially trying to fight for Kashyyyk. We know that they fall. They're not able to do it until Han Solo and Chewbacca come in Aftermath and end up freeing all the Wookiees. So yeah, it's really interesting to see like just the continuation of just like the overall just downfall of Kashyyyk and the Wookiees. It's very sad. Yeah, it's really sad because like they end up just getting turned into a slave colony. Like it's just a slave planet. And that's what the Empire does is they enslave the locals and they make them harvest their planet's resources to zero, and then they leave the planet, and it's really sad.
Yeah, and that was the thing that was getting me this episode, and that's why I felt like a little bit more. I understand when you say a filler. I get it. I'm not arguing with you on that, but this one had a little bit more substance than last week.
Oh, most definitely.
Because we know Gungi from Clone Wars, so it's not like this unfamiliar character. And we didn't know his fate. We have no idea what happened to this little guy, and he's still a kid. Like that's the part that got me was like he's still a kid. So they're not. It's not like the Empire is differentiating and being like, oh, we're going after you. No, they're just killing them because they have a lightsaber in their hand and they know how to use the Force at this point, or capturing them and turn them into Inquisitors. So, when the droids in the beginning, which very cool to see like a droid.
The Vanguards were really neat. I want to learn more about them.
So in SWTOR, there's this thing called a droid rebellion. It's essentially a dungeon that you do. And there's a planet that was completely taken over, operated, and run, and there's a whole droid hierarchy going on the planet.
Oh, that's sick.
It felt very similar to that, but it was just cool to see it. Like they were operating on their own, but they kept talking about the buyer, and I can't help but think that the buyer might have been. I don't want to say just the Empire generically, but the Inquisitori would be my guess. Would you agree with that?
It's something. Yeah, I mean, it's something along those lines for sure. I mean, like we know based off of Obi-Wan that they were collecting Jedi, right? They were freezing them in the amber. And so like we know that they are harvesting them for some reason. And so we're getting really close to that like Obi-Wan timeline. To a certain degree, like we're starting to see the beginning of it, I would think. So yeah, this might play into the Inquisitorial division. This might play into Vader directly. I think it'd be silly to not think that that's where we're going with this. There's just like the one thing that's I'm finding myself really frustrated with is that each episode gives a little nod towards the direction that we're going to, but most of the episode is just kind of made up with like all this other stuff going on. Yeah. And like the tone at the beginning of this episode was really dark and dramatic, and it made me feel like this was going to be a very important episode, just the way that it opened up. Mm-hmm. And then we took a complete left turn and it was off to save the Wookiee and go back to Kashyyyk. So it was kind of weird. Like I was really hoping that we were gonna sit more like with the Vanguard, or like we were gonna learn more about that stuff, or start to go down that rabbit hole. And it's kind of like, it's just another one of those like ancillary stories where it's just like, okay, you dropped Gary off at Kashyyyk and now that's done. And so it's just like all these like isolated stories, which is fun. But like, when do we get to tie in the end of season 2 or the first season of Bad Batch into season 2? Like there's just a lot of questions that I have. And I know we have, this is episode 5, right?
That was episode 5.
So we've got 11 episodes left of this, to go through. So at some point we're gonna hit a point, and it's probably gonna be the mid-season episode where things shift. So I would say either next episode or the episode after is going to be when we start seeing, like, we start getting Rampart, and we'll get Crosshair, and we'll see more of that stuff, because that's kind of like how I felt like the end of season 1 kind of went, is that like once we got on to like back to Kashyyyk and like hunting like everybody, like that was like when those episodes were really, really good.
Right. Yeah, I would say, do you remember covering Clone Wars final season with me? And, we were introduced to the Bad Batch. We thought it was really cool. We're like, all right, this is cool. And then we went to those two sisters and their story that were with Ahsoka and whatnot. And you and me were like, okay, I don't, well. And those sisters would show up in other content later, which was cool. But it didn't get going until those last masterpiece of final 4 episodes where you and I were like, that's its own movie. Like,
because it was, going off to Mandalore and seeing like the 501st and like all that stuff.
That was its own movie. I can't help but think that we're in a similar situation, because this is Filoni's thing, and Filoni also made the final season of Clone Wars. So I think he just likes to establish, parameters, bring in characters that maybe he wants to bring into the story later. So Gungi will probably be back in something, and just explore a little bit. And he probably has to meet episode quotas and things like that to make an entire season, or maybe it's based on total time watched and things like that. So there is an algorithm to it. So I can't help but think that he has some sort of banger ass story coming to us at the end, and maybe he's just kind of fulfilling his obligation, but also fleshing out the universe further in the beginning. I know that may be frustrating to some people, but I mean, I'm kind of going along that route because of what he did previously with the final season of Clone Wars.
I think it's a fair assessment.
Yeah, that was my thought. But I love the episode. I loved the like getting a little bit deeper into Wookiee culture. Not that we haven't, because video games have explored it. We've done it a little bit with live action. I was hoping to see like Chewie's dad, Tarfer, or something like that, but it wasn't the episode for that. So
I love the whole Avatar thing, though, where it's just like this was the planet of the trees, and trees are their allies and all that stuff. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
That's Old Republic stuff, though. That's Old Republic. Like, they've been saying that stuff for a while, and then they had those big ass cat things.
Oh, the cats were
Avatar.
really cool, dude. Like, it made me think of Voltron.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. I didn't even think of that.
Think of Voltron when I saw it, because they were like different color cats that came over. I was like, oh, this is sick.
So even though my dream of Pandora becoming Kashyyyk is probably dead because of all the money that Avatar just made.
They just made over $2 billion.
I would just like to say that in all honesty, like, look how easy it would be to switch it over. I'm just saying, it wouldn't be hard.
It's not going to happen, though.
It wouldn't be hard.
It's not going to happen.
Bob, I'm begging you. I just wish they never invested in Avatar. It's just, oh God.
Why? It made them $2 billion.
I don't like it.
Yeah, but their stockholders do.
Well, I don't care. I don't like it. Anyway. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the episode. Again, there wasn't this whole like, oh my God thing happening. So is what it is. This isn't bad news. It's just news. So everyone calm the hell down.
If you bring up Jedi Survivor and it being delayed and saying that's not bad news, I'm going to reach through the screen and kiss you.
It's not bad news.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, it's a month and a half.
But why?
At least it's not a vaporware game that we still haven't seen gameplay footage of, where they lost the licensing on it.
I don't even think they...
That's a whole other podcast.
Dude, holy shit. The day before, dude. Why couldn't they just call it the day after tomorrow?
It's not that, and it's not like Hogwarts. Before. It's not like Hogwarts Legacy, where they've delayed it 2 years now.
That's a whole nother
podcast episode. That's 2 podcasts right there. Bing bang boom done. So it's not like those. It's literally coming out. When was it? April 28th. Tim,
why, Kevin?
Well, I'll read the letter.
I didn't read the letter.
For the last 3 years, the Jedi team here at Respawn has poured its collective heart and soul into Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and we are proud to say the next chapter in the tale of Cal Kestis is content complete. We are now focused entirely on the final stage. bug fixes to enhance performance, stability, polish, and most importantly, the player experience.
Good.
Jedi Survivor is a direct response to the feedback from our community, delivering expansive destinations to explore, evolved combat and traversal, and of course, the continuation of Cal and BD's story. Making this game has truly made us a better team, and we have pushed ourselves at every level to make this the Star Wars sequel our fans expect from Respawn and Lucasfilm. In order for the team to hit the Respawn quality bar, provide the team the time they need, and achieve the level of polish our fans deserve, we've added 6 crucial weeks to our release schedule. Star Wars Jedi Survivor will now launch globally on April 28th. Thanks to EA and Respawn for giving us the time to deliver the best experience for our players, and to all of you for understanding. May the Force be with you, Stig and the Star Wars Jedi team.
Man, they are gonna crunch that. So it sounds like to me that their beta testers or their QA people got their hands on the game, and it was rough.
Yeah,
that's my thought. So it's good. I mean, like they don't want to have a Forspoken, so that's fantastic. I'm really proud of them.
No, oh boy, that's. Oof.
Yeah, Kevin, we could do an entire podcast about just the shitty game situation.
We got 3 episodes right now of a whole other show. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with this. It doesn't bother me. Like, again, I think you're right. I think it's just probably bug fixes that can be fixed in 6 weeks that the QA testers found that would have created so many problems for them on social media and things like that, that it's just like, screw it. Let's just delay it 6 weeks, get the bugs, ironed out, and do that huge day 1 patch. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I will say from a content creation standpoint, it's a little frustrating because the releases that have come out lately have been rough. Other than Dead Space. Dead Space was great. That remake is phenomenal. If you're looking for a fun game to play, and especially if you're a fan of the original Dead Space, play the remake. They did a great job. But the overall gaming community as a whole, I think, is very just unhappy with the state in which video games are in. So I think everyone was kind of like looking forward to Survivor coming out, especially with like just like all the hype around the story and whatnot. Like there's so much. So like after getting like all of these like delays of like, hey, your game's not coming out until like November, or hey, this game's not coming out till next year. And so I think people just as a whole are just like tired of getting blindsided by delays. But I'm happy that Respawn is able to take it upon themselves to be like, hey, the game's not what y'all want, or it's not in the spot where we feel like it is in its best place, so we're going to take the time to fix it. Hopefully they do it well and healthy, and they take care of everyone, and it's not going to be the ungodly like Rockstar crunch where people are like sleeping on the floors and like they haven't seen their families in a month. I think people forget about that when it comes to like the gaming industry and crunch. So
here's my thought on that is because of what we've had in the past.
Yeah.
I feel like a company like Respawn won't do that because Respawn employees would probably be like,
I mean, if there's one person in the gaming industry that I would trust is Vince Impella. Like Vince is just like, he's a really like, he's got a good head on his shoulders. Like he's a good guy. So I think
I'm okay with the delay.
Yeah, I'm good with it. Like, I mean, like a part of me, the streamer part of me is like, fuck. Yeah, like, but the Star Wars fan and the person who wants like a perfect game is like, okay, that's fine.
Well, I mean, now you had probably your schedule mapped out for March, and now you gotta course correct. And
nothing coming out in March. That was the only game that I was excited about. Wild Hearts. See, that was the other thing that I was thinking about too. Is I wonder if they wanted to make sure that Wild Hearts had time to breathe and not have like a Titanfall Battlefield issue, whereas like one game gets trumped by the other. This isn't like, and that's a smaller game. It's one of those EA Spotlight games, and so it seems like they're kind of like putting some marketing dollars behind that. It's essentially Monster Hunter. It's Monhun, but it's better looking. It looks like they've improved upon like the overall mechanics that you would expect in Monhun, and they've really like polished it up. It looks really good. But I think the release dates were fairly close, so I wonder if that's why they pushed some things back just to kind of give their games one, give them time to continue polishing their game, and two, allow other titles to breathe a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have no problem with it. I don't think it's a big deal. I think I did see a few people, and I'm like,
are you going to get the collector's edition?
No, because honestly, it wasn't much that I wanted in there.
So the lightsaber is the same lightsaber they make for Disney that you can buy at the parks. It's not that one. That's not even it doesn't even turn on, Kevin. It's a metal mold.
Broken. That's why. See?
It's a metal mold. Yeah, but the one, okay, so here's the thing. The collector's edition looks just like that, but it's powered, but they don't sell the blade. You have to buy the blade separately.
So why wouldn't I just go to Disney and get it then?
That's what I'm saying. And then you'd go and it's not a great quality. Like it's Disney built lightsaber, so like it's all right. You could go online and you could get like an actual like VFX NeoPixel Cal Kestis lightsaber for like $500.
If I'm gonna do like those, which I'd love to start collecting them because I don't want to collect the Disney ones anymore. They're cheap.
That's what I'm saying.
It's for Disney, it's the experience, and once you do it, you've done it, and that's great. I wanted to do it like 3 more times, and I've lost interest in it. So the NeoPixel ones are nice, but the fact that you can customize them. So I've seen people doing like crossover lightsabers, and like I told you, I think I showed you the Lord of the Rings one that looks like the Numenorian lightsaber. I was like, I need that in my house to play with in my garage when no one's looking.
Kevin's working out. And he looks like the kid from the Star Wars meme where he's using the broom. We've all did that in our parents' garage growing up. You all had a broom handle and you were swinging it around.
Parents' garage? You haven't done it recently?
No, well, no, because I have lightsabers here, so I can swing the lightsabers around.
That's what I mean, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, but I don't need a broom handle anymore.
Right, you have your own now. You're old.
That's right. I've got grown-up money.
I saw a thing yesterday. It said, the comedian Nate Bargatze? All right, so he's from Tennessee. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So he's like, in your 20s, you're just like, you're down. It's like, what? I don't know where we're going, but I'm going with you. What's that? You want me to move? I will burn my fucking apartment down right now if you want me to. I don't even care. And then in your 30s, you're like, what? Where are we going? What time are we leaving? I don't know. I'm gonna drive separate because I just no. And Danielle was cracking up when we were watching that. Yes,
sounds right.
I'm gonna drive separate. Yeah. So yeah, if I'm gonna do that, I think I would want to do like custom lightsabers rather than do replicas. Because even like you have Revans, don't you? The Black Series one.
No, I've got the dark saber.
You have dark saber. That's what you have. Is it solid?
Yeah, it's a real. Yeah, I mean, it's really good.
Is it Disney solid or is it like solid?
No, it's like I could probably kill somebody if I hit him with the hilt.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
so maybe the Black Series ones are a little bit more sturdy than the I don't want to say the cheapo ones, but the cheaper ones.
Yeah, you can. What's cool is if you buy 2 Cal Kestis lightsabers from Disney, you can actually take the broken parts off, and then you can actually bind them together, and so you have a double bladed lightsaber, which is cool. You have a lightsaber staff. So I mean, like that's cool.
I like that.
I don't know. I'm just like when it comes to collector's edition for video games, I'm always looking for like statues. I want stuff to put up on like the bookshelf, and so like I was really disappointed with this one because I was really hoping for like a statue of Kel or something. It was just like, here's his lightsaber. It's like, fuck, the same one that Disney makes. Oh well, but the box is cool. It comes in like a neat box and whatnot. So I like statues. I'm a big fan of the sideshow like statues and stuff.
Somebody I just saw online, there was the Vader on the throne in what's the planet called? Vader's
Mustafar?
planet. Mustafar. It was Vader on Mustafar with the like sitting in his throne.
Like an Obi-Wan? Yeah.
And there was like they had the window behind it, and there was like lava feature.
Oh, sick!
I'll see if I can find it, and I'll send it to you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Anyways,
so yeah, it's whatever. It's no big deal. Everybody needs to calm down. All right, calm down.
I'm gonna go make a post on Facebook about it.
Yeah, you do that. Hey, before we go any further, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a few minutes. We're going to pay some bills, and we'll see you on the other side. And we are back. So they revealed celebration guests, which, by the way, Tim and I are not making celebration. We got too much going on with work, life, all that stuff. We really wanted to, but now the conversation has shifted from Tim and Kevin are going to go to London to Tim and Kevin are really hoping they announce Orlando for 2024. That would be chef kiss.
Really funny if we said that we couldn't go to the Orlando Star Wars celebration. Sorry, guys, we just can't make it to Orlando.
It's, driving an hour. It's just, can't do it. Sorry. They announced the guests. So Anthony Daniels, no shock there. Dude comes every year. Ashley Eckstein, no shock there. D. Bradley Baker, no shock there. Giancarlo is going to be there. Ooh. Indria Varma, who played what's her face in she was the double agent in Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Lanter, sorry, Vivian Lyre Blair, and more. There's also a deleted tweet from January 30th that says Hayden, Dennis Lawson, Mads Mikkelsen, Katie Sackhoff, and James Arnold Taylor will be there as well. I feel like Hayden is not going to go anymore.
Dude, I think he was blown away by his reception last year, so it'd be silly for him not to be there.
Yeah, I don't think Hayden's not going to go anymore. So, I'm interested to see what they bring to the table. Like I said, I don't mind if you talk about Willow, but like, do not open the show with freaking Willow again this year. Like, please give us Star Wars to start. We know we're going to get an Indiana Jones trailer. Again, please do not make that like your major focus at the beginning.
Could you imagine they open it up with Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones?
And he's, I'm not here because of Han Solo. I hate you Star Wars nerds.
Fucking Indiana Jones this time.
Yeah. Again, we've talked about kind of what we're expecting. We know that they'll probably announce Willow season 2. We know they'll announce Indiana Jones, but we're more concerned with Star Wars. So it's fine that you talk about that stuff. I get it, Lucas, but please, for the love of God, give us Star Wars stuff to start, finish, and like give us some substance. Last year was a bit weak.
Rough.
Yeah. So celebration announcements. We'll be talking about them because they'll probably start dropping more stuff.
When is celebration again?
April something, mid-April, I believe. Mid-April, yeah.
Wait,
right before Jedi Fallen Order. Why are you making that face?
Because do you think like this was a part of a whole marketing thing?
April
like
10th.
Now that I'm thinking about it, like
April 7th to 10th.
Yeah, motherfucker. Of course, Kevin. Oh, they 100% decided to push this back so they could show stuff off at Celebration. Oh,
probably do a gameplay walkthrough.
This is why. Yeah, dude. There's no way in hell this isn't a marketing ploy. It has to be. They showed off Fallen Order for the first time at Orlando. We had the Sith troopers and all that stuff that were up there. The Inquisitor troopers, those were cool.
The Death Troop. Death Troop.
They weren't Death Troopers. They were something else.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so like they showed up on screen. That was sick. No, it wasn't in Orlando. Where was it? Was it London?
LA? Anaheim?
I wasn't there for that one. I was there for Battlefront, which was pretty cool too. But yeah, so Fallen Order, they showed it off at Celebration. They did like the full walkthrough. They had the actor who does, I forget his name, who's Cal Kestis, was on stage and doing like, why wouldn't they? They did this big, they had the big thing, the tank, the back to tank and all that stuff at the Game Awards show. Why wouldn't they just like up it? Well, just give us a little bit more before the game comes out. Purge Troopers, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess maybe that played into the decision as well.
If Celebration's at the beginning of the month and you know you're going to have a much wider audience that are watching all this stuff, especially when they're coming for like the gaming panel, like why wouldn't you put it in the Lucas Gaming Showcase? They've got all these other Star Wars games to talk about and show off. Yeah,
we'll see.
I'm going with this as a marketing bit.
Well, on the note of the games, Ubisoft hires Battlefront 2 creative director for their open world Star Wars game. Interesting.
What's weird is I don't ever remember this guy, and I was in both Battlefront team. I was one of the influencers for both Battlefronts, and I never met this guy.
Ubisoft Massive has enlisted the help of creative director Tim's best friend, Bernd Diemer, whose credits include Crisis, Horizon Zero Dawn, Battlefield 5, and the upcoming Dead Island 2. Did you see that meme I sent you about Crisis with the guy who had the burn marks on his
burned his nuts because he was trying to run Crisis
laptop,
on his laptop.
and his nuts, and they were like, "What happened to you, sunburn?" He's like, "No, I tried to run Crisis on my laptop." Diemer has specifically been tasked with helping with social interactions for the upcoming Star Wars title and future games that Ubisoft will develop. Quote, I am honored to join Ubisoft and gain the opportunity to collaborate with talented global teams to shape the future of social experience in Ubisoft's games. They're known to be catalysts for dynamic and diverse communities, enabled by innovative features and powerful brands that allow players to come together. I'm excited to partner with the group's teams around the world to bring social experience in our games to new heights. Diemer's new position seems to support speculation that the Star Wars game will utilize a game as a service model, which had previously been indicated by reports earlier this month.
It's going to be a live service MMO.
Gas doesn't work anymore.
It's going to be great.
I mean, like, again, if you do it, and this is what we said before this game was even announced. Do you remember talking about that? I said, and you agreed with me, if they do it like Red Dead Redemption GTA style, that could work.
Kevin, all it needs to be is literally Star Citizen, but with Star Wars. Like, that's literally all you have to do.
I have not played a lick of Star Citizen, but I probably watched you play 30 or 40 hours, and I agree with you.
Like, could you imagine just getting in your cockpit of your favorite ship and just blasting out of a space station and just flying off, or you're out of a spaceport or whatever, and then you have the freedom to fly around wherever you want. And you get to make your own path. You want to be a bounty hunter? Fucking sick. Have fun. You want to go run cargo from Tatooine to Coruscant? Go for it. You know, that's where I would see this game going if it's going to be like this open world style game, because it can't be Star Wars The Old Republic, right? Because like that's already a live service game that's doing its own thing. So, like, if you want to go play a WoW style Star Wars game, you go play that. So, I don't think Ubisoft would make another game like that. But at the same time, what is Ubisoft known for? Third-person adventure games. And so, like, in my head, you are going to end up getting like a Knights of the Old Republic style game. So, I don't know. But like knowing the people that are on that team, I'm curious to see like where it goes, because like those guys are like, there's like a decent amount of people from DICE that worked on Battlefront that are now over there, and so like in my head it is going to be more like along the lines of like a first person shooter / exploration game. Like I really think it's going to be Star Citizen.
I think it'll be third person like Division.
Third person would make sense because it allows you to show off all of your cosmetics.
Yep.
And Battlefront had a great third-person shooter mechanic. Like the guys that worked on that they were really, really good. Like they had the whole like being able to swap shoulders. They had a great way of showcasing your UI as far as like, you know, are you going to aim and hit a wall? Are you actually going to aim and hit the target? They did a lot of like just small little things that made the third-person shooter aspect of Battlefront really fun and engaging. So I'm curious to see if they continue that piece. But Ubisoft is very much, and especially Massive, like this is the guys who made The Division. That's what they're good at. But I wonder if it's going to be more of this RPG element where you're building builds. You know, are you going to try to min-max everything, or is it going to be more of a traditional shooter? I don't know. Not sure. Knowing that all the Battlefront people are on it, it makes me think no. I hope it's not an RPG. I really don't want a Division. I don't want a Star Wars Division. Like I don't want a min-max build, because that's where I get lost. Like if it's like a Destiny Star Wars game and it's all about min-maxing builds and whatnot, like I will. So
then if you don't min-max builds, what's the carrot on the stick to keep playing if it's a game as service?
the different, well, I mean, it's like the different elements, like the different paths that you can pick. Like you want to go be a bounty hunter, then you go run bounties and you're hunting
That means
people.
then the content needs to be robust enough for me to turn it on every day.
Right, exactly. Like, and that's the thing. Like with Star Citizen is like if you want to run cargo, or if you want to go mining, if you want to go bounty hunting, you can do all that. And so there's different paths that you can take. That's the stuff that I want. And you're right. It does need like those gameplay loops. They need to keep you engaged and interested. So it's not just like grab bounty, kill thing, go back, grab bounty, kill thing. That becomes boring. But like if the person that you're hunting has a backstory behind, I mean, like they said that this game is going to have a very robust single player portion to it as well. So like, is the campaign going to be interwoven through the actual like open world element? Is it going to be like Sea of Thieves, where Sea of Thieves is like you're doing single player stuff in the open world and you could be attacked by people while you're trying to finish a single player story? I think that would be cool. That would be awesome because you can engage and disengage the single player at any point.
Or is it going to be like Outriders, where there's a hub and you take people to your location?
I don't know.
And things like that. Or Destiny was the same way too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a feeling we're going to get a pretty big download on this game at Celebration. So
I would hope so. I mean, like the gaming showcase for Lucas last year was pretty lackluster. So
I agree. Yeah, and Coder we haven't heard shit about, so that's the other
which is
one that's
terrifying. KOTOR, we've got the Bounty Hunter Switch game that never showed up. We have Eclipse. We have Eclipse that we know nothing about as like the state of the game.
Eclipse will come out when I'm in my 50s, so I'm not
well,
really.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Is like it got pushed to 2028, but like, is it really going to be 2028? Is that a placeholder?
Why are we announcing games that are coming out in 2028? Why?
It wasn't supposed to be in 2028. It was originally supposed to be in like 2024. And then all that shit broke with what's their
Quantic Dream.
Quantic Dream. I was like Detroit Becomes Human. Quantic Dream, all that shit happened with Quantic Dream, so then they had to push it back. But like, KOTOR, this is the same way where they move studios. So it's just like, I would love an update. I would love an update on games.
We shall see. What the hell is that Bounty Hunter game called? We always forget. Bounty Hunter.
I don't know. Bounty Hunter Switch game. It was supposed to be like Overwatch. It was supposed to be Overwatch on the Switch.
I know it keeps coming up as the old Bounty Hunter game when I type that in. Star Wars Switch game. Oh man, that game was fun. I remember that game.
Do you remember the Mortal Kombat Star Wars game?
It's called The Hunters.
On PlayStation?
Releasing in 2023. The Mortal Kombat Star Wars game? Oh,
yeah, it was a fighting game, but it was Star Wars.
Masters of Terras Kasai or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
We talked about that in an
I had the demo disc for that game. And that was the only way
you could only be two fighters, right?
You could be Return of the Jedi Luke, or is it Han Solo or Leia? But it was like 2 or 3 characters that you could pick from, and like that was like my Star Wars game for a while. Like that was my pick up a lightsaber, be a Jedi fantasy game. I'll never forget that.
I feel like I had that disc too. Now that you said it, the way you said that,
it was big too. Do you remember the old PlayStation boxes? They were like,
I remember.
They looked like an actual book.
Or the PC Gamer magazine ones that like your friend would be like, "I got the game here. You can have this."
Mm-hmm. Those were great.
Yeah, memories.
Demo discs, man.
Demo discs.
Because you just have like a catalog, like which demo you want to play.
Yeah, and then it was download a demo. And you're like, all right, cool. It's only like 2 gigs. Take me an hour and I'll come back.
Now it's play a beta. Like, oh shit. I love beta testing. Beta. Yeah, exactly. I love beta testing. It was like back in my day, we all you do is buy a comic book or a magazine.
Pay to play the beta for 3 years.
Yeah. I love Fortnite.
That was always my big hang up with Fortnite. People would be like, when it was nominated for Game of the Year, I was like, it's still.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right, we're getting out of here. Before we go, so if you've read the High Republic books, Phase 1, you remember Porter Engle. Porter Engle is an old man by the time we meet him, but everyone talks about he's like one of the best lightsaber swordsmen of all time in the Jedi Order and all this stuff. Porter is getting his own comic book called The Blade.
Nice.
Blade number 2. So Charles Soule, we love Charles Soule, launches back into the legendary Porter Engle's backstory with the Blade number 2. The first did a perfect job setting. So there is one before this is the second one. First did a perfect job setting the stage with a perfect mix of displaying Angle's mastery of the lightsaber. We are treated to another short flashback similar to what we got in the first one. It was brief, but also my favorite part of the comic. Taking place at the Jedi Temple 17 years prior, Porter and Barash are Padawans. He talks about Barash in the books. They are about to be separated by the Jedi Masters because they're growing attachment to each other. This is Charles Soule talking, by the way. I fully expected Porter to be upset at this and want to scheme a way around the issue, but it was Barash who came up with the genius plot. So, and Paul put a note in here. It seems like they're placing more emphasis on the fact that these are Jedi that live outside the strict code and seem to be the ones we enjoy the most. Yeah, I mean, every Jedi that doesn't follow the Jedi Order code to the T seems to be the ones that we're most drawn to. You know, we love Qui-Gon. We love Obi-Wan. If you've played Coder, you've heard me talk about Jolie Bindo 1,000 times. So, you know, yeah, I mean, the Jedi that are Tim loves the Wayfinders from the High Republic. So it's always the Jedi that kind of buck the rules, because they know that the rules are way too strict and, you know, probably cause more harm than good, that we fall in love with. So
I think I think they end up like huffing some spice at some point and I'm just like, oh, I get it now.
Like a Force ayahuasca journey.
Yeah, like they went on a little spiritual journey. They had some spice. You know, it's kind of like Dune, right? Where they just like, you know, they inhale the spice, they get a little high, and they're like, I see everything now. It's the same idea. Like it's spice is, I mean, it's essentially the same shit. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that like the people who are like quote unquote like woke Jedi who are just like they're like, I'm gonna go Wayfind. I think they got high on spice.
Hopefully not death sticks.
But I want to go down that rabbit hole.
I don't think Disney's ever going to go far down that rabbit hole, Tim.
That'd be really interesting though. Just like some pothead Jedis that are just like,
God,
I love spice. God, I love spice.
Also, I don't think spice is like weed. I feel like spice is more like heroin.
It's like cocaine. It's like really hardcore. Maybe it's like watered down spice. Well, they don't ever talk about any other drug but spice. But spice can be refined. It's all about like how it's refined because it could also be explosive.
Yes, just like Dune.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
spice is fuel in Dune.
It all comes down to like how they like refine it.
Yeah. So maybe spice is like the main
maybe
ingredient.
It's like Bacta. Maybe they're smoking Bacta instead.
I don't know if you
can Bacta bongs.
Hit that Bacta bong real good. Feel fantastic. Look, thank you for hanging out with me and Tim for Star Wars and Scotch episode 117.
Such a weird episode.
All about the space drugs. You can check out Tim, Darkness429. Hey, by the time you hear this, you'll have missed it, but go wish him a happy anniversary over at fb.gg/Darkness429 and Darkness429 everywhere else on the internet. If you want to yell at me, it's Kevin X Vision on Twitter, KMagic101 on Instagram, raredrop.co is everything else we do. And we are Star Wars and Scotch everywhere on the internet. Star Wars Scotch on Twitter, Star Wars and Scotch everywhere else. Please rate, review, subscribe, do all the things. Our numbers have been steadily growing with no Star Wars show on right now. Oh, Bad Batch, but that's not what I mean. It's usually the live action one. So thank you so much for the new listeners out there. We appreciate it. You're hanging out. It's really cool to see new people come through and enjoy it and come back week over week. So Tim and I greatly appreciate hanging out with you and getting to talk about our favorite nerd universe. We will see you next week for episode 118 of Star Wars and Scotch. We'll be covering Bad Batch episode 6 and whatever Star Wars news pops up over the next few days. And as always, we love to say,
may the Force be with you.